If you're wondering how AI can be used for your marketing across landing pages, ads, emails, content marketing, and really for your whole team, then let me walk you through exactly how it can work. We've been at it all day. For 6 straight hours, we scrutinized our ads, sales pages, and emails. We pored over the data, tried to punch holes in our theories. We evaluated copy ideas, headlines, spitball drafts, calls to action, proof, benefits, feedback, and revisions. Everything was put under the microscope, but as the hours chugged away, frustration and exhaustion set in. A group session in the conference room can only take you so far. Sooner or later, you have to decide what copy you should run and let the market decide what converts best. At the end of the day, we settled for campaign copy that can best be described as dishwasher wastewater. I already knew it would be a spectacular flop. The ads zipped around the web, deployed across networks, fueled by an impressive media budget large enough to fund a small country. The landing pages, videos, and emails kicked into gear, ready to receive and convert the masses that at any moment now would come pouring in. And the ding, ding, ding notifications were surely about to dribble in, but the rest, as Hamlet said, was silence. A bunch of clicks, a handful of page views, 0 sales. Now, do you know why the campaign failed? It wasn't that too many team members had too far many opinions on the copy and decided they should share their thoughts. It wasn't that all of a sudden the developer, manager, and designer were all experts on copywriting, though that happened. And it wasn't even the usual copy by committee where everyone believes they know what's best for copy. All these things happened, but do you know what the biggest problem was? Humans writing all the words. Yep, humans writing all the words. Now let me explain. You can remedy all of the above and your copy could still fail to move the needle. A few experienced copywriters already know that, so their approach is simply to generate quantity, as many ads, emails, landing pages, and copy as they can come up with. Because they know that you have to write a lot of copy and test it in the wild to discover what converts. That's also why templates and headline formulas are so popular. You grab some frameworks and templates, let them guide your writing, fill in the blanks, and voila, you have copy that should convert. But the next set of problems soon come knocking, and that is your brain biases. If you're too close to the product, too close to research, and you're too close for too long, you're actually less likely to spot anything that's wrong or should be done differently. You're effectively blind to your copy. It becomes harder and harder to separate yourself from what you've written and taking a step back and reevaluating. You simply cannot see what's wrong or what's right, and that's because your brain is working against you. Paradoxically, this is even more debilitating if you've done all your research. The secret sauce of successful copywriting has always been to do enough research, and that's where you discover big ideas, hooks, angles, the right language, and words to use, and you spend hours, days, and even weeks immersed in the features and benefits of the product or service that you're trying to sell. You do a deep dive into customer psychology, persona, psychographics, you do interviews, surveys, and look at competitors and their messaging. You do all of it because that's where you often find the best messaging that turns into copy. And this is all true most of the time. The danger is that you're doing all the research, but you don't know what to look for. So when, for example, a big idea is staring in your face, you fail to recognize it. Or someone says something in an interview that could have turned out to be the perfect headline, but once again, you don't realize it, you don't see it. There's such a thing as too much research. And despite all the research in the world, one day you still need to open up a blank document and start writing. If you're smart, you've taken copious notes along the way, and so you're really only piecing together and editing together the copy. You assemble it. And that brings me to what's likely the greatest leap forward for marketers in maybe a century. Much has been said and written about GPT-3 and AI-produced content. Robots can now really write anything: poetry, short stories, screenplays, fiction, ads, emails, all of it. But the giant leap forward is not that these tools can now write 50 ads or more in just seconds. They can, but the key here is that GPT-3 unlocks unlimited creativity. Let me show you why. As Everyone filled into the conference room and sat down for the post-mortem of the spectacularly failed campaign. I quickly opened up a new tab, typed in a URL, and logged in. Everyone was expecting the usual 20-slide presentation, but I had other plans. You see, a few weeks before this meeting, late one night, as I was playing around with this new tool, GPT-3, I stumbled on something that was so obvious, so evident, that I was ashamed to have not realized it sooner. My team and I had experimented with various AI text generators for several months. I had used GPT-2 as well as beta tested GPT-3 before it was publicly released, but we had always gone for the obvious play: get a ton of text of varying degrees of quality generated really fast, make edits, changes, and turn it into something usable. Everyone was excited about producing 50, 100, or even 200 ads in just minutes, and reading those ads was often hilarious because the output was kind of weird. So with everyone seated and a few people joined the Zoom link that we had, I turned on the projector in this meeting in the conference room. As my browser tab came into focus, all you could see was a sparse looking text input field and a couple of buttons. The big kahuna, the team manager, Monica, turned to me and said, "Okay, Sam, let's start with your overview and look through the data," and then I lean across the table and cut to the chase. "Monica, how about we skip the data and speculation and jargon, and I just give you a demonstration of how we fix this?" I could feel every head turn toward me. Everything and everyone went silent. Monica sat back, raised her eyebrows, and said, "What do you have in mind?" I gestured at the screen, typed a couple of sentences into the text field, and clicked one of the buttons. In less than a minute, text filled my screen. I turned to everyone and said, "What you're looking at is text generated by GPT-3. It's doing this on its own, taking my input and feeding back the text that it thinks fits." I got puzzled looks, squints behind glasses. So I continued, "Out of all of this output, and if I keep giving it input to get more, we can begin to identify raw copy for ads, emails, landing pages, sales pages, basically any copy that we need. Now take a look at this text, for example," and I singled out a blurb of text. "This right here could become an ad. It's a little weird, but honestly at this point, what do we have to lose?" I copied the text, opened up a Google Doc, and pasted it. I took a couple of minutes to edit the text, rearranged some of it, and turned it into a Facebook ad. I could tell that Monica wanted to jump in with something, really anything, but she was a bit stumped. I seized the opportunity to just continue with the demonstration. Sorry, not sorry. With a few more edits and a read-through, it was done. One of our Facebook media buyers was in the room. "Mike, I'm going to Slack you this document. Can you please launch it together with one of our ad sets right now?" Mike opened his laptop, hesitated, and looked at Monica. She only had eyes for me, but not in a romantic way. She turned to Mike, nodded, and said, "Sure, why not?" About an hour later, I found myself hunched over my laptop with everyone in the room standing around me, looking over my shoulder, peering down at my screen. I waited. A moment passed. Then, slowly, I glanced up from the laptop. I looked around the room and said, "Do y'all see this? We have our first sale." Now, cut and fast forward back to me here, you and me right now. Not only had I just turned a failed and dead campaign into something that could work, and it did work, to the tune of about $700,000 in new revenue over the course of 3 months. We had done all that with just one ad. And we had done it in a way that's not supposed to work, according to conventional marketing thinking and conventional marketing strategy. Conventional thinking around advertising, copywriting, and creativity demands absolute worship at the feet of research. The gods of media buying demands a multitude of sacrifices. The lords of management dictates that all copy shall be written by committee. The ritual of research, writing, and testing shall almost guarantee successful outcomes in the form of conversions. We petition the angels and saints of advertising for a bountiful harvest, and what I had just done was utter blasphemy. Instead of going back to the mile-long research documents and folders bursting at the seams, I had taken only a morsel and offered it up to GPT-3. Instead of writing copy by committee and soliciting stakeholders, buy-in, reviewing, all of that, I picked raw text that looked interesting to me, and instead of writing text on a Procrustean bed of ad templates and frameworks, I took the raw text and turned it into an ad. It worked. It converted. It made sales, a ton of sales. And this is the giant leap forward, is a new way of being creative and writing copy and producing marketing that converts. It's a different way of processing, formulating, and writing. Really, writing anything, not just ads. We did this with emails, sales pages, everything in our marketing campaign and promotion that we had put together. We revised all of it, used what we got from GPT-3, and it converted like crazy. So the constraints are not the usual suspects of templates, formulas, research, copy by committee, and having clueless people give their feedback. The constraint has always been ideation, seeing things differently and getting the weird ideas, the unusual perspectives that become killer copy and high converting marketing. With GPT-3 and other AI writing tools, if you use them correctly the way I show you, you'll generate ideas that can turn $1 into $1 million, into 10, into 50, into 100, and it just goes on. And you can do so while deeply cutting into the hearts and psyche in a way that changes everything. Your marketing, paradoxically, will become more human when you use AI properly. If you want more on AI and marketing, AI and copywriting and creativity, follow me.